So the next thing we're going to talk about is choosing a theme based on its SEO features. Now, I'm going to start off by saying that Thesis and Genesis are virtually identical. And the only reason I speak to this is because they both on their own, when they talk about themselves, they talk about themselves as their SEO is superior. And their SEO is superior without question compared to most other WordPress themes. The SEO features of both Genesis and Thesis are far superior. They are so superior as to be essentially identical to each other. And so you're not going to really use this as a rationale for deciding whether or not to use Genesis or Thesis. Somebody in the questions in advance of the class asked me whether or not, which one would be best for SEO for a real estate site. Well, neither. I mean, that SEO is not going to be a consideration in that decision-making process because they both excel at that sort of thing. And the three types of features we're going to talk about here are HTML5. Both Thesis and Genesis implement HTML5. And in Thesis, the implementation of HTML5 is largely in the hands of the skin designer. And actually, I guess that's the case for Genesis too. So it's possible for you to get a skin that does not, properly implement HTML5, but they are fundamentally HTML5 themes, which means that they include the opportunity for semantic markup, which is the critical aspect of HTML5 for SEO. They both implement schema, which adds metadata to the content area. So it essentially describes for search engines what's an article, what's a product, what are the different aspects of the schema that are being employed in it. And those are very useful for search engines and search engine optimization, and they both employ schema. They both have the standard meta tags, so meta title and meta description. They both have robots, TXT, and all the rest of those other things, canonical URL, stuff that they've always had, really, right? Genesis and Thesis were the first ones to come out with this stuff in themes and have always had that aspect to them. And they still share those things amongst each other. So as far as SEO is concerned, they are virtually or essentially identical. However, there is one difference, and this may be a reason for you to make a different choice. And the one difference is that Genesis makes it very easy to turn off its SEO features, in particular meta tag, meta title, that kind of stuff. It makes it easy to turn that stuff off and then to use a third-party plugin for it instead, like All-in-One SEO or Yoast Seo. And so if you are coming to this choice with a site that's well established, that is already using some SEO plugin to take care of your meta title and meta descriptions and robots TXT and all that kind of stuff, then it's going to be easier for you to use Genesis because you can continue to use that same system. Whereas Thesis will require you to import that data and transfer it into the Thesis system in order for that to be useful. One of the most well-known, most successful plugins out there is Yoast Seo. And Yoast Seo is very powerful. Thesis has like 95% of what Yoast Seo can do. But Yoast Seo, from an SEO standpoint specifically, Yoast Seo has a couple of other things on it that it adds to it, like sitemaps and permalinks that Thesis doesn't bother trying to do. But the one way in which Yoast Seo surpasses Thesis is at this point is that Yoast Seo allows you to customize meta description and meta titles for custom post type archive pages. Now, this is a very specialized case, and most people don't have to interact with it in that way. And many people, even though they are interacting with it that way, still don't worry about, you know, the meta information on those pages. But Yoast SEO does give you the ability to customize that meta information, and so it's especially for complex sites, it can be a useful plugin to use. Now, remember I mentioned Serge Liatko here a moment ago. While Thesis doesn't support the use of Yoast SEO alongside of it, Thesis 2, Serge Liatko has let's see, where is it? Okay. It's not on this one. He does, in fact, have a Thesis Yoast Integrator plugin. Yoast Integrator. Very inexpensive. So it's under his WooCommerce Thesis Integration.com. He's written a couple of integration plugins. One of them is for WooCommerce and Thesis. And the other one, when his site actually comes up, is for integrating Yoast with Thesis. And so you can, in fact, use Yoast with Thesis if you spend the $9 or $10 or whatever for purchasing this additional plugin. So Yoast will work out of the box with Genesis. In order to use it with Thesis, you need to use Serge's plugin, and his website's not coming up right now, but it is an excellent plugin. It works quite well, and I've used it on sites a couple times lately. So anyway, that's the one difference in SEO, is the ability to use a third-party integration for SEO. And with Serge's plugin, you can at least use Yoast. So